Hello everyone, welcome to LEGO Star Wars Hot Takes Episode 3. As always, if you have any controversial opinions or hot takes about LEGO Star Wars that you want me to discuss in next week's video, make sure to go ahead and leave it in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with the Brit Guy 909. He says, hot take, the new 332nd battle pack is not bad. I think the reason why they kinda made Vaughn the same as the others is because people might want to buy 50 of them. The clone troopers look accurate and helmet holes don't affect me like others. Now I definitely get where you're coming from, and I think this is a great viewpoint to have on this set, as maybe someone will just want to take the visor off of Captain Vaughn and then have 4 identical clone troopers. Although there's 2 problems with this. One is that the Captain Vaughn minifigure does have that symbol printed on the top left of his chest, which indicates that he is a captain. It's not super noticeable and it might not bother you if you take his visor off, but it is there, so he's not technically exactly identical to the other 3 clone troopers. And then the other problem with this, which is the main problem, is that on LEGO's website for this set, they advertise that Captain Vaughn has a special helmet, which in fact he does not. He just has a visor on a normal helmet, so it's a little bit of false advertising going on there. So those really are the main 2 problems with this, although one is really just on LEGO's advertising for this set and the other is just a minor detail that some of you might not even care about. So yes, theoretically it is nice that you can get 4 identical clone troopers in this set. TF Cuber 1925 says, hot take, I believe that the 2013/2014 Phase 2 clone trooper design is far superior to the new 2020 style clone trooper. I personally think the simpler helmet print, black hips, and colored arms are way more expressive and color balanced than these newer clones, who just have too much white now. With their all white hips and all white arms, every clone looks exactly the same from the back side. In my opinion, they need to bring back more color to these new clones, or just start printing on shoulder pads of the color of their Legion at least. Not to mention, this also added with the ugly helmet holes just makes some of the clones downright ugly. And I'm mostly gonna have to agree with you on this one. As you might not know, the clone troopers back in 2013-2014 had black hips, and they also had colored arms, and in one of my last videos, I don't remember which one, I talked about how the 2014 212 troopers are better than the 2022 212 troopers just because they have orange arms instead of white arms. And like you said, it does balance out the colors and definitely does give it a more expressive look. And yeah, I do think that the white hips nowadays are not really the best option, although the reason LEGO is doing this is that nowadays on the clone troopers they're actually printing directly on the hips, so obviously they're going to make the hip pieces white. Although it is a pretty good detail, I don't think the clone troopers would be bad without it. And also what you said about the clone troopers having simpler prints back then, I do admit that the clone trooper prints back then did look very good, although I actually really like how the clone troopers now have very complex and detailed prints. I think it makes them look very good and very accurate, although I do have to say that those complex prints combined with the white hips and the white arms really do make the figures look a little bit imbalanced, like you said in your comment. So I really think the best option would be to just bring back the black hips, because I don't really think anyone would really mind if LEGO stopped putting printing on the hip pieces, and then along with that just bring back the colored arms. I mean, I think there's really no excuse why the new 212 troopers shouldn't have orange arms, and I really think there's no excuse why the 501st troopers shouldn't have blue arms like they used to have. So yeah, I think doing those few simple things would just balance out the colors better, like you said, and just add some more contrast and make them look a little bit more expressive, and the different legions and battalions would definitely stand out from each other more. But there's really no telling what LEGO's gonna do. I don't really see them bringing back the black hips, although I think bringing back colored arms is definitely a possibility. MiniC's 1219 says, I don't mind unique characters in a battle pack. I would love to see a battle pack with 4 named Sith Lords or 4 named clone commanders. It's fine when a battle pack isn't meant to be bought in large numbers. Most people will grab 2 to 4 or rarely 8 battle packs anyways. And I'm just gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you on this one, and I think many other people will too, as the original battle packs came out in 2007 and they were specifically intended to get a bunch of troopers in a small cheap set to, well, hence the name, make a battle. And then in 2009 and the early 2010s, they started putting the Build Your Army logo on the bottom of the boxes to literally indicate that they are made for building armies. And obviously those early battle packs really set the standard for what battle packs are supposed to be, and they are sets that are literally designed to get a mass amount of identical minifigures to recreate a battle or make your own battle or make an army or any of the above. So obviously having named characters in there is kind of just a waste of a minifigure, as people buy battle packs to get identical troopers, and if there's a named character, people are just kind of gonna leave it out and ignore it. The main battle pack that I can think of that had a bunch of named characters was the Bounty Hunter battle pack from 2016, and it was a cool concept. It was just that those minifigures did not need to come in a battle pack. I think if you want a bunch of unique named characters, they need to come in a set, an actual set, not a battle pack. It could either be one named figure coming in a small $30 to $50 set, or it could be multiple named figures coming in a $100 plus set. It's just they need to stay out of the battle packs. They need to be put somewhere where they actually belong and where they fit in with the overall set better, and the battle packs just need to be left for identical troopers that are made for mass quantities. Sonor Pepe Jr. says, hot take, LEGO clone troopers, especially the regs, are super overpriced. I really hate that the Phase 1 from 10 years ago is going for around $10. And now you have to keep in mind that when we're talking about retired figures or retired sets. I don't think overpriced is really the appropriate word to use because Lego is not selling them anymore. All the prices are just determined based on the current value, and the current value is just how much someone is willing to pay for that figure or that set. And you said Phase 1 Clone Trooper from 10 years ago, so I assume you're talking about the Phase 1 Clone Trooper from 2013. And yes, those are going for around $10 to $15 on Bricklink now, and people are willing to pay that, as there has been a lot sold in the past 6 months with an average price of $9.25. And the Clone Wars Phase 1 Clone Trooper is going for even more. The average price is $17. So yeah, if you want to get these figures, you're just gonna have to pay the price. And I understand how it sucks from a consumer standpoint, especially if you don't really understand how the third-party market or reselling in the Lego space works. So I mean, yeah, I wouldn't really say they're overpriced. I mean, they are 10-year-old figures and they're going for $10 to $15. That's not terrible, although I get that you probably want large quantities of them, and I get that's probably frustrating. But if you want them in good quality, you're just gonna have to pay the price, and I don't really see the value going down ever, to be honest, as there is an immense amount of hype behind Clone Troopers in general right now. And then on top of that, a lot of people don't even like the current Clone Troopers that Lego are making because of the helmet holes. So obviously the value from fan favorite Clone Troopers from 10 or 12 years ago is just gonna keep on going up. Hartlepool Mono 8178, I don't really know if I pronounced that correctly. He says, hot take, UCS sets are some of the only consistently high quality sets. Many play sets or sets in general end up looking pretty gross when you compare it to some pretty spicy mocks. Vader's Fortress has cool figs, but is one of those pretty underwhelming play sets. First off, UCS sets are targeted towards adults, so the attention to detail is going to be taken more seriously. But yes, I do understand your complaint with playsets not having a lot of attention to detail to the actual models. I do agree with this. I mean, I think some of the most recent playsets could have had a little bit more attention to detail, but it's not like super bad. I mean, they still look like good Lego models. And then when you said they don't look good compared to mocks, there's really two problems with this take. One is that mocks don't have any limits on them. A mock builder can use as many pieces as they want, and also mock builders can make the vehicles look very sleek and very accurate because they can just tile off all the studs. And this sounds kind of weird, but Lego actually does this. They don't really like to tile off studs. They like to show a lot of studs because they want people to easily recognize it as a Lego set and not just as a model. I remember when the UCS X-Wing came out a few months ago, people were complaining that there were too many studs showing on it, and the reason Lego did this is because they want it to look like it's a Lego set. The best mock I can think of that really proves both of my points is the Minikit Guys MTT. It's easily the best Lego MTT I've ever seen, although if you look at it from afar, you might not be able to recognize it as Lego just because so much of it has been tiled off, and the final outcome is really nice. It is one of the most impressive models I've ever seen, although from Lego's viewpoint, they want people to easily recognize it as a Lego set, so they're not really going to make it as sleek and as accurate as it could be. And the other thing is that he says this model has 10,735 pieces. Now imagine if a Lego set had that many pieces. It would be well over $1,000. Not a lot of people would be willing to pay for it. A lot of people would be complaining about it, and that just really wouldn't be the best move for Lego just because it would cause so many problems within the community. So yeah, I really hope that kind of clears things up for you. Obviously, Lego is going to put more attention to detail towards the UCS sets, although they're not going to make them as 100% accurate as they could be just because they want them to be recognizable as a Lego set. Quello Delintro, I don't even know if I said that right again. Anyways, he says, hot take, helmet holes are actually a good concept for Clone Troopers. People can actually use the extra accessories like the visor on the clones to personalize and make a more unique army, and it's even a good way to stimulate children's imagination. And now I definitely agree with this. I love that we can put helmet accessories on Phase 2 Clone Troopers now. It's just the way Lego executed it was not the best. I talked about this in one of my last videos, but if you look at the side of the Clone Trooper helmet, you can see that there is two circles. One is the helmet hole and one is just the normal circle that's normally there on the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmets. And in universe, that normal circle is what the actual helmet accessories kind of attach to or attach around, but Lego decided to make a helmet hole right above that circle when in reality the helmet hole should be directly onto it. It would easily solve the problem and make it look way better. They could easily just change the mold a little bit and move that circle part up a little bit and then put the hole directly onto it, and then the Clone Trooper would look basically 100% accurate, but instead they decided to basically stack two circles right on top of each other, and it just looks kind of weird. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this week's video. If you have any hot takes or controversial opinions you want me to answer in next week's video, make sure to put them in the comments below, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the end screen right now.